To the salad. We gotta talk. We gotta talk, baby. Scratch that. I'm gonna talk and you listen, okay? I was really, really disappointed in last season, though I will admit some culpability in my own disappointment. Perhaps I expected a seamless transition from the previous coach to you, and considering that many of the same coaches who were on staff with the previous coach were still there when you were elevated. Many of the same players were still there, with some exciting new players added. In both 20 and 21, injuries limited what we could do, both offensively and defensively. I'll give you a pass on that. But what I won't give you a pass on is the quality of your decision making. And a case in point, co defensive coordinators. Now, I suspect that if you'd have named one or the other defensive coordinator, one or the other was going to have their little egos hurt, and you're going to probably lose them in the offseason. Well, what happened? Lost them both. Perhaps they were holdovers from the previous regime. As it was, earlier in the season, the defense regressed. I mean, isn't that your specialty? Why you think that happened? I'll tell you why. Because too many cooks spoil the soup. The next thing that I won't give you a pass on is how you handled Jameis Winston. After it was found out that he had 4 fractured vertebrae, he should have sat no matter what he said. You, I thought, were the coach, right? And then you're going to go and name Andy Dalton quarterback one after a 3 interception and a half performance with 2 pick sixes in 1 minute and 6 seconds toward the end of that second half, back to back. What a slap in Jameis Winston's face, especially since you led him to believe that he would not lose his job because he was injured. Hmm. Well, even after the Arizona game, Jameis was still hurt, it's true, and he still should have sat. But by the time the Steelers game came around, I started noticing that he wasn't on any injury reports anymore, but he still sat. I'm sure he came to you with his concerns and went to Mickey with his concerns, who sent him back to you. And he wasn't getting no play from you. So he went to the press. Seems like to me you dealt with him the same way you dealt with Terrell Pryor during your stint in Oakland. Dennis, now, if you did something once and it failed miserably, shouldn't experience tell you not to do that thing again? Shouldn't it? Rumor has it, and I take rumors with a grain of salt, that you had your little finagles off in the offense last year. Maybe limiting what Pete Carmichael could do, what plays he could call, and who he could call those plays for. Defensive coaches usually don't fare well offensively when they become head coaches. You, Eberfluss, Lovey Smith, and Todd Bowles are all defensive coaches. How did their offenses fare this past season? Well, the Bears and the Texans are picking down in the top 5, aren't they? The Bucks, the Saints. Mm, I rest my case. It was shocking and disappointing to me to find out that both you and Pete Carmichael would be back next year. Okay. Saints Nation didn't get their wish to have the both of you fired and to have some new blood pumped off into the airline drive. Okay. Since both you and us of Saints Nation are stuck with each other, seems like to me maybe we should make the best of it. And because of that, I am willing to give you a chance. While it's true that in the interest of continuity, many of the previous coaches' hires were retained here. Such is not the case now. You're hiring your own people, ones that you chose for these positions. I see that Derek Carr, for the moment, has snubbed you. That's not surprising either, considering that the man is due $40 million. And I'm sure the Saints don't want to pay that to him. Let's just say we don't even sniff Derek Carr. Then who are you going to be looking for? You certainly don't want Lamar Jackson, and he's going to be franchised anyway. Somebody will be desperate enough to snatch up Aaron Rodgers and pay a whole lot for him. Are we? What's liable to happen is that you go and draft a young quarterback, and I wonder if you do that, how many coaches do you have on staff have the ability to develop a young quarterback? And as it is, since you will probably not trust a young quarterback with this team, Andy Dalton is liable to be QB1 unless someone else hires him out from under you for a better price, though I seriously doubt that. You do still have one quarterback under contract. His name is Jameis Winston. And it may be that you may have to be crawling to him on your hands and knees, hat in hand, begging him to stay and play. But if I were him, I'd give you deuces and walk on out the door because I couldn't trust you no farther than I could spit. Hear me, Dennis. Hear me. I'll give you another chance to make something out of this team. The Saints brass apparently have given you another chance to make something out of this team. You on the hot seat, baby. And I really do wonder if you have the chops to cool it off. We gonna see. Good luck.